Alright, in the second video for environmental science, we're going to talk about how biotechnology affects the environmental science industry. Before we get started with biotechnology and how it affects the environmental science industry, let's talk about the word biotechnology. So when you break apart that word at the top, you have bio, which means life, and then the whole word biotechnology refers to how we use living things to make new products or advancements. So biotechnology, it plays a major role in detecting and monitoring pollution and determining how much is present. It also involved with solving environmental problems. For example, indicator species. So an indicator species, an example would be a lichen. Lichens are used as environmental indicators or bioindicators. So if the air quality is bad or if the area is badly polluted with sulfur dioxide, there may be no lichens present in that area. So just green algae may be found. And so if that species is not there, then they're going to tell you the air quality is probably bad in that area. So it indicates, the air quality. Bioremediation. So it uses bacteria to clean up oil and fuel spills. So you remediate the environment using living organisms. So there's a couple different types, or a couple different things we've seen with this. There's oleophilic. So oleophilic, that word means attracted to oil. So oleophilic bacteria, they were used to clean up oil spills. Exxon Valdez oil spill in 1989 employed this technique, and so when that major oil spill happened, they were used oleophilic bacteria to help clean up and eat that oil, essentially. In South Carolina, there's a suburb of Charleston that had an 80,000 gallon jet fuel leak from a military fuel storage facility. The fuel entered the ground and the groundwater, and bacteria were used in this case again to successfully remediate the problem, and so they're used to clean up the situation. So that's bioremediation. There's biostimulation. So Exxon Valdez cleanup effort using an addition of nutrients to feed the oleophilic bacteria in this incident. So what this means is they didn't just have the oleophilic bacteria out there cleaning up the oil. They actually used different nutrients and added it to the water to help attract those bacteria and help stimulate how efficient they were, so they clean up even more. So that's biostimulation. There's biodiesel. Many of us have heard this term before. It's actually made from oil seeds such as soybean and canola oil. It's been proven to decrease harmful emissions. You can actually convert your a diesel car or a diesel truck into biodiesel, and so essentially that vehicle will run on vegetable oil. There's phytoremediation. And so in Oregon, Poplar site is an illegal industrial waste dumping site. In Jayfield at Aberdeen Proving Ground, it's a disposal site for chemical warfare agents, munitions, and industrial chemicals in Maryland. They each used a hybrid poplar tree. So when you think of phyto, you think of plants, phytoremediation. So they use plants to clean up these areas. So they use a hybrid poplar tree to remove VOCs, their volatile organic compounds, from the contaminated soil with success at each of these sites. So they basically had these trees, and through the roots they sucked up the chemicals, and they kind of act as a filter, and release clean air back to the atmosphere. So that's phytoremediation. Genetic engineering. This is a major concept, especially in today's time. Bacteria strands are under development to convert solid waste from humans and livestock into sugar and fuel. And so that's one of the biggest genetic engineering things now is how do we deal with all this human waste that we have, and it'd be great to be able to convert that into sugar and fuel, something a lot more useful than human feces laying around. So there's a couple limitations though to using bio and phytoremediation. A couple of these limitations involve time. So when you compare it to chemical use, where you just pour chemicals out there, they're gonna kind of quickly get rid of the problem. Bio and phyto, using plants and different living organisms, it's going to take more time. It's slower than chemical techniques. Applicability, they do not apply to all situations. Not in every case can you just pour oleophilic bacteria into the ocean and hope that they clean up the oil. So it doesn't apply to every situation. There's a fear. So those who live near the treatment sites often would rather have the contaminated soil removed from the treatment site. And so actually going in there with excavators and heavy machinery and actually removing all that soil and replacing it with soil from somewhere else, instead of having all this other stuff treat the soil, and the fear that bacteria living there even after the site is treated. So there's that fear the process will not uncontaminate the soil, or these organisms will be used to will have a detrimental effect on the environment even after the oil is gone, because they will continue to live there. So that's all I got for you guys concerning biotechnology. Next time we'll pick up, learn a couple different principles and practices in environmental science.